working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Maricar Velasco, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines, the Department of Agriculture reported that damages and losses brought about by severe tropical storm Ineng reached 163.09 million pesos as of 8 a.m. Tuesday. Malaysian prosecutors Tuesday wrapped up the first of several cases against toppled leader Najib Razak over the plundering of 1MDB a day before the start of his main trial linked to the scandal hit fund. With interest in the Rohingya refugees fading 2 years after they fled their homeland, the World Food Program has found a new weapon to maintain awareness, one with a wet nose and a wagging tail. The Department of Agriculture, DA, reported that damages and losses brought about by severe tropical storm Ineng reached 163.09 million pesos as of 8 a.m. Tuesday. According to the DA, Disaster Risk Reduction and Management, the increase in the overall values was attributed to the reports from Ilocos Norte with 33.31 million pesos as losses and Batanes with 1.46 million pesos. Agri-infrastructures such as irrigation facilities contribute to most of the damages and losses at 122.6 million pesos, 75%, followed by rice at 26.16 million pesos, 16%, fisheries at 6.38 million pesos, 3.9%, high-value crops at 3.95 million pesos, 2.4%, livestock at 2.35 million pesos, 1.4%, and corn at 1.65 million pesos, 1%. The DA said it is currently distributing a total of 18.1 million pesos worth of rice, corn, and vegetable seeds to affected farmers in Ilocos region. Emergency financial assistance of 25,000 pesos under the DA Survival and Recovery Program at zero interest and payable up to 3 years was also provided per affected farmer. The Sure Loan Assistance, which is being implemented by the DA Agricultural Credit Policy Council, aims to support the government's goal of helping agricultural households in calamity-affected areas regain their capacity to earn a living and provide immediate relief to small farmers and fisherfolk through loan and emergency assistance package. The DA, regional and provincial DRRM operations centers and concerned local government units are continuously conducting field monitoring and validation for further damages and losses caused by Ineng to the agriculture and fisheries sector. Malaysian prosecutors Tuesday wrapped up the first of several cases against toppled leader Najib Razak over the plundering of 1MDB a day before the start of his main trial linked to the scandal hit fund. With the prosecution now finished, a judge will hear arguments from both sides in October and rule on November 11 whether the case is strong enough to continue. If he rules it is, Najib will likely begin his defense in December. The former prime minister, his family members, and inner circle are accused of stealing billions of dollars from the sovereign wealth fund 1MDB in a fraud that stretched around the world. The claims played a major part in Najib's government losing power at elections last year. He was arrested after being ejected from office and went on trial in April. The current trial is the first of several that Najib is expected to face over 1MDB and centers on claims that 42 million ringgit or $10 million was stolen from SRC International, a former unit of the fund. The prosecution called 57 witnesses during the first stage of the trial, and the court heard evidence about the lavish lifestyle enjoyed by Najib and his widely reviled wife, Rosma Mansour, after allegedly looting state coffers. Najib has denied all charges. The 66-year-old's biggest trial over 1MDB will begin Wednesday, centering on allegations that hundreds of millions of dollars linked to the fund were transferred to his bank account. Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir kicks off his official visit to Vietnam by meeting Vietnamese counterpart Nguyen Xuan Phuc. They also agreed to work closely with other ASEAN members to ensure peace, stability, safety, and freedom of navigation and overflight in the disputed areas in South China Sea.
One area that we need to work together is to point out that the world is experiencing a disregard for international laws, and many countries are affected because the big powers take the law into their own hands and they do things which are contrary to their stand on international management of international relations. We also talk on overlapping claims with regard to the continental shelf, and we believe that such disputes should be settled in a peaceful manner through negotiation, through arbitration, and possibly through a court of law.
Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc said it is important to resolve disputes by peaceful means in accordance to international laws and the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea in disputed waters. On July 31, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi said ASEAN and Beijing had completed the first reading of the single draft negotiating text for COC. Wang, who was in Bangkok for the annual ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting, said it was an important progress in COC talks, which marked a critical step towards the goal of concluding the consultations within 3 years. The COC of parties in the South China Sea, signed by China and ASEAN in 2002, outlined the important principles in the management of disputed disputes in the South China Sea. The U.S. and 10 Southeast Asian states will hold their first ever joint maritime exercises in September aimed at preventing wrongdoing as Washington and Beijing jostle for influence in the region. Washington has traditionally been the dominant naval power in Southeast Asia, and its re-engagement with the area comes as a deteriorating trade war with China threatens to engulf the global economy. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo attended a regional summit earlier this month with 10-country Association of Southeast Asian Nations in a bid to promote the Trump administration's so-called Indo-Pacific strategy. Also a source of friction is China's expansive claims to the South China Sea, as the resource-rich waters contain some of the world's most vital commercial shipping lanes. Despite having conflicting interests with 4 rival claimants in ASEAN, China last year held a joint maritime drill with the regional bloc. The navies of the U.S. and ASEAN will do the same on September 2, the U.S. Embassy in Bangkok announced late Friday, with the exercises launching at a Thai naval base in Chonburi province east of Bangkok. The purpose of the 5-day maritime drill is to maintain maritime security, focus on prevention, and preempt wrongdoing in the sea, according to the U.S. Embassy statement. The drills will primarily take place off the coast of Vietnam's southernmost Ca Mau province, where the U.S. Navy will dispatch suspicious boats in a mock exercise to help ASEAN's navies to search, verify, and legally prosecute the boats. Welcome back. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand hosted the 10th ASEAN Connectivity Symposium in Bangkok yesterday, bringing together over 140 participants, including ASEAN Connectivity Coordinating Committee representatives, sectoral body chairs or representatives, dialogue partners, and other key stakeholders. Under the theme Connecting ASEAN Through Financing Sustainable Infrastructure, the symposium discussed the opportunities and challenges of financing infrastructure projects and the different innovative ways to address infrastructure investment gap. Accentuating the importance of sustainable infrastructure financing in ASEAN to strengthen regional connectivity, Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, Arthayud Sirasamut, stated in his remarks that one of the challenges to seamless connectivity in ASEAN is inadequate financing relative to the high demand for infrastructure investment. He adds ASEAN's infrastructure financing needs are estimated to be around $210 billion per year, which ASEAN cannot afford alone. They therefore underscore the importance of financial connectivity while also seeking innovative financing approaches that mitigate risk in projects and bring more partners together. With a lineup of experts and practitioners from both public and private sectors, as well as international organizations, the discussions at the symposium centered around the three main themes on building sustainable infrastructure for quality growth in ASEAN, increasing private sector's involvement in infrastructure project development and investment, and innovative financing options for different types of infrastructure projects. The speakers and participants exchanged their views, providing feedback and recommendations on enhancing the role of policymakers and private sector in infrastructure development and financing towards enhancing ASEAN connectivity. The symposium noted the importance of having a broader mix of financial instruments that would allow a better diversification of risk among a wider range of investors. There are various tools and instruments to encourage private sector investment in infrastructure, as they can help to improve risk assessment and management. The Philippine peso ended Tuesday almost unchanged against the greenback despite the risk aversion amid trade and geopolitical issues overseas, while the main equities index slipped. The local unit started the week's first trading day at 52.26 from 52.27 last August 23. There was no trading on Monday due to the National Heroes Day, a national holiday. It opened the day at 52.42, weaker than the 52.34 close at the end of last week. It traded between 52.26 and 52.45, resulting in an average of 52.376. Volume totaled to $1.22 billion, higher than the $1.21 billion in the previous session. On the other hand, The Philippine Stock Exchange Index declined by 1.80% or 142.03 points to 7,747.38 points. All shares also fell after it slipped by 1.33% or 63.58 points to 4,706.80 points. Most of the sectoral counters trailed, led by the holding firms, which decreased by 1.96%. It was followed by the financials 1.92%, property 1.85%, services 1.37%, and industrial 0.82%. Only the mining and oil gained during the day after it rose 1.46%. Volume reached 2.59 billion shares, amounting to 13.47 billion pesos. Losers led gainers at 124 to 88, while 39 shares were unchanged. AAA Southeast Equities President William Matthew Cabangon said rebalancing of portfolios was noted during the day despite heavy losses due to foreign selling. He said the contraction of the PSEI was contrary to the rise of its counterparts in the U.S. and in Asia, which was attributed to news citing U.S. President Donald Trump's claims that China has indicated to hold trade talks anew. He said the PSEI closed the day's trade at its 7,750 support level. He added there is the possibility that they might see a bounce tomorrow, but in case they don't, the next support level is at 7,630. With interest in the Rohingya refugees fading 2 years after they fled from their homeland, the World Food Programme has found a new weapon to maintain awareness, one with a wet nose and a wagging tail.
Sit. Sit. Sit.
Come on. Don't be such a wuss.
Yeah. Come.
Foxtrot. Foxtrot, sit. Sit. Sit.
Foxtrot is opening us up to new audiences and keeping the story of what's happening here on the agenda. I mean, he's very popular with donors as well and has quite a few fans in that community.
আজকেও হচ্ছে এটা কন্টিনিউ প্রসেস এই সমস্ত
When visiting the Philippines, Manila or Quezon City is a popular destination. But oftentimes the hustle and bustle of the city can be more stressful on your vacation. So when you feel the need to reconnect to nature or relax again, there's a beautiful oasis just outside of the city called the Garden at Ciudad de Victoria. you can see here include hydrangea, snapdragon, and stargazers. They're truly beautiful. The gardens at Ciudad de Victoria are so peaceful, tranquil, and beautiful that it's become a haven for young couples and a very popular venue for engagement photos. The next time you want an escape from the big city, the garden at Ciudad de Victoria is a wonderful place to visit.
Let's head on to Vancouver, where the Miss Philippines International BC Beauty Pageant was held. Frendel Peheran reports.
Tonight, we get to see what it means to be part of a cultural celebration. Miss Philippines International of BC is a platform to empower young women coming from different backgrounds. Though focused on their poise and personality, we get the chance to know more about the contestants as their individual merits, academic achievements, and talents would be recognized. Let's take a look.
Founder and director Adeline Capino discloses her why and what she intends the contestants to gain from this experience.
With my experience years ago doing Binibining Filipinas and competing in Miss International, I was just inspired to start my own organization to provide the platform for young women. I hope they actually just embody the essence of a Filipina while trying to represent the Filipina-Canadian community and just to enjoy the experience, right? It's all a learning experience.
Because it is the first Miss Philippines International of BC, young women of the Filipino-Canadian community did not pass up this opportunity. Contestants Janella and Era share the reasons of their involvement in this experience.
I found that it was very interesting to join because it actually connected me to my roots, doing a lot of the pageant prepping and all the introductions. So yeah, I've been having fun with it.
I wanted to be able to embrace my Filipino beauty and its essence, and just being a part of it has made me feel more in touch with my culture. It's just really important for me to never forget where I came from.
Contestant Angeline boasts about her new sense of pride.
It's just a more humble sense of pride of where Filipino Canadians really come from, and I feel more ingrained in the community, and I think that's really important because I myself was born here. My parents were immigrants who came here from the Philippines, so it's really nice to be able to be centered in that culture and really understand that.
Though not on Philippine soil, Pinoy pride is undeniably high here abroad. From Vancouver, now living in the Philippines, Filipino celebrity, singer-dancer AC Bonifacio tells us why she traveled the distance to mark the stage with her talents.
I just love performing for my people, I guess, for the Filipino people, because I love inspiring other people, and this is just another way to do so.
The way art moves and inspires a community has been proven to lead one to self-discoveries. All the way from San Diego, YouTube singer Alex Valoria shares a little piece of his heart with us.
Orchestrating people's emotions through music is one of the most profound feelings for me, right? Being able to share emotions and bring things out of people that they normally wouldn't have thought of through music and song.
Could having a platform to showcase talent and poise, like that of Miss Philippines International of BC, positively influence the future of a community?
Well, every single time they need a stepping stone, right, to grow to something bigger. So I think this is the stepping stone to grow the Filipino community and as a collective in BC.
What an incredible night! Beauty pageants are clearly not only about looks, but also about one's poise and personality used in influencing the community. Frendel Peheran, Eagle News, 1/25.
And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I am 1/25.